Welcome back to Faust Goes to the Movies. This will be part 2 of our expose on Marilyn Monroe and her career. And we're going to concentrate on her early film career and how that started, which would have been in when she got her first contract, which was with Fox.
Well, she did it. The first film credit is 1947.
1947, is that Ticket to Tomahawk?
No, that's Dangerous Years,
Dangerous
which
Years.
was just kind of a walk-on part. But.
Right, and then she did Scudda Who, Scudda Hey, which she ended up on the cutting room floor, and then, was it Ticket to Tomahawk?
Well, then Ladies Go to the Chorus.
Ladies of the Chorus.
But then Love Happy with the Marx Brothers.
With the Marx Brothers, right.
And
that's when she walks on and said, "Men are following me."
And the Ticket to, right, that's the one. That's her scene.
Yeah, that was her scene. And after then I don't know when she took up with Johnny Hyde, but he was instrumental in forming her early career. And that would have probably been when she was with Columbia. It was probably when she met him. She did 2 or 3 movies with Columbia?
No, a couple. Just a couple that they basically, had her for a short time, 6 months, and then
6 months, yeah, because she was really bouncing around and nobody knew what to do with her.
Well, I was always fascinated on how they actually came up with her name. It was her modeling career came to the attention of Ben Lyons.
Ben Lyons, yeah.
And who was then a Century 21 Fox executive.
Yeah.
And between him and his wife, he basically said it's Jean Harlow all over again. And so they started her out in $125 a week, which is huge money.
Huge money then.
For Wiz, and they were trying to decide on a name because Norma Jean just wasn't going to make it.
No, and Monroe is her mother's maiden name. That's how they came up with that. And Marilyn, I don't know.
And well, Marilyn was very interesting because they were going from Jean to variations of combinations just to try something. And Lyons suggested Marilyn, commented that it reminded him of Marilyn Miller.
Marilyn Miller.
A sexy 20s Broadway actress.
Yeah.
And Norma Jean didn't like it at first because it was a combination of 2 names she didn't like.
Yeah.
But then became comfortable enough with it, and that's how she became.
Yeah, as with most of those people, were never comfortable with their stage names anyway, so... But yeah, that is. And when, let's see, so it was Ben Lyons. Was he with Fox or Columbia?
With Fox.
With Fox, yeah. And it was also in that time that she came under the tutelage of Johnny Hyde. Mm-hmm. And Johnny Hyde was instrumental in getting her first breakout role, which would have been the Asphalt Jungle in 1949.
Yep.
When she was 23. He also secured, as we spoke of earlier, he secured her 7-year contract with Fox.
Yep.
And then died.
Yeah,
he was about 2 feet tall. And he always had to wear lifts whenever he was with her and all of this kind of thing. But he was very instrumental and wanted to marry her, divorce his wife, and obviously none of that happened. So.
Well, it's because then the Asphalt Jungle, so she got that wonderful small role in All About Eve with Betty Davis.
Yep, with Betty Davis. That was a major coup for her to get into that picture. And Lyons was also instrumental in that before he died, which was securing that. And then she went on from there. She's the comic dumb blonde in All About Eve, but playing it to the nth degree. But Fox, when they first got her, were grooming her to be an adult drama star, which the best 3 examples of that would be Clash by Night with Barbara Stanwyck and Robert Ryan.
Yeah.
And then
Asphalt Jungle, of course, yeah.
Asphalt Jungle, right. And then after Clash by Night, Don't Bother to Knock, where she plays a mentally ill babysitter.
Right, and then her breakout role of Niagara. Yeah.
Niagara, Rose Loomis. Yeah, and that continues to be one of my favorite movies. When they filmed her walking away like 2 pigs in a blanket, the whole block, the longest walk in Hollywood history.
Yeah, what was it? Constance Bennett quipped, "There's a broad with a future behind her."
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. That's perfect. There's a broad with a future behind her. I love that.
Exactly. Getting prepared for today, I'd forgotten their key role in Monkey Business.
Which is hilarious, with Cary Grant and Ginger Rogers.
Yeah, it was just absolutely a hysterical role.
When they're sitting in the car and he's drank the potion and is slowly turning into a younger person. They get in his sports car, and she asks him, "Is your motor running?" And he said, "Is yours?"
All innuendo of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then obviously that her career took a tremendous change when she became a comedian.
Yeah, a dumb blonde comedian, and that would have been with Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire, which are hilarious movies. And she took to comedy like Harlow did. I mean, like a hen lays an egg. I mean, she was perfect. But she couldn't escape that. And then it continued with the 7-Year Itch. And they tried to segregate her into these types of movies. She didn't want to do that. And so she went off to New York and studied with Lee Strasberg for 18 months.
Is that where she met Joe DiMaggio, or did they meet some?
Well, no. Joe DiMaggio, she met, that was earlier. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. That was way earlier. That would have been in like 1952 or even 53. They were only married, I think they were only married for 18 months. Mm-hmm. And, but he was a constant fixture in her life for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
It reminds me, they always talk about her problem, but one of the best quotes that I can think of for her is, "If you can't handle me at my worst, you sure as hell don't." What is it? "If you can handle me at my worst, you sure as hell don't deserve me at my best." And that was kind of the whole deal with her.
I always remember
DiMaggio couldn't handle her.
Well, I always remember the infamous story about 7-Year Itch and the classic scene of the subway blowing up her dress, and that Joe being in the crowd and
that was the end of the marriage.
Not appreciating it.
Yeah, and that was a publicity stunt because, of course, they filmed that on the soundstage, but that was just a publicity stunt to do it in front of Lowe's in Manhattan or whatever it was, wherever they filmed that. But yeah, he couldn't deal with that at all. He just wanted her to be married and have kids, and of course, you can't do that when you're Marilyn Monroe.
No, that's absolutely true.
No, so from then when she formed Marilyn Monroe Productions,
which was the renegotiation of her Fox contract.
Of her Fox contract, exactly. That gave her one of the first people to ever have director approval and supporting cast approval. And all of that. She was one of the first to ever do that, and it also marked the change from when you were owned by a studio in Hollywood. She was one of the first people to actively pursue that and form her own production company.
Right, and there is where we have now covered the early part of her career, and now it's going to be the next part will be her part 3. So
when she shot off like a rocket.
He was shot off like a rocket. So stay tuned for more, and we will see you at our next episode.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for listening.